Let's run with this morning. Junk piles of life. I came out here this morning, yep, it's still morning, to film this video thinking I'll find a really nice posie in the yard to do this video where I don't have junk piles in the background, and if there is a bit of a junk pile in the background, I'll be able to just, position myself in just the right way to not see the junk pile. But no matter where I put the camera this morning, given the sun and everything, there's junk pile in the way. And that got me to thinking, life is like that. My life, this channel, it's a series of junk piles. Yeah, I'm laughing. There's a lot of dark laughter there in that one. Yeah. So maybe let's run with that theme, which I had no intention of doing this morning, and see where we end up. See, back around May, I started my 30-day challenge, which, as anyone who has been to this channel, not many, know, it was an absolute failure. Why was it a failure? Well, because the junk piles of my life lobbed on my doorstep once again, numerous, my doom piles of life just lobbed themselves wherever they placed. And it sent me into a pretty dark spiral, mentally, emotionally, relationally, spiritually. A really, really dark spiral, and quite impactfully on a physical level as well. And I came out here this morning to just say, hey, I've got a whole lot of great content about to be uploaded to this channel. I'm not going to apologise for the fact, the only one I've got to apologise to is myself, in as much as not having finished my 30-day challenge for myself. Just one more failure to launch in my life. But back on July 10th, I had this to say. I'm done putting on appearances to create content that people might want to watch. I'm just documenting my life at this point. I'm going back to the roots of what YouTube once was, which was people documenting their lives. Just because. Is it overshare? I don't really give a fuck. Because I've undershared my entire life. I have been such a misfit in this world that the real world has never experienced the real me. And I figure the world can now have nothing, if not all of me. Now that clip from a much longer video, of course, it's me, and a video that will be uploaded in due course, in full. That little clip is exactly where I'm at, which is just documenting my life on this channel for documenting my life's sake. And I said about, from that initial video, I said about going down the line of losing my religion, my de-Christianising my life, how I was born into Christianity, how I came to leave Christianity, what pushed me that way, and everything that was associated with it. But yet again, things came out, more junk piles got dumped in my life, and I went into a really, really You know, when I say dark patch, well, as will soon come to light, it was pretty bloody dark. And clearly, I am coming out of it. But you know, I just wanted to highlight where this channel is going in terms of, this is for me now, for me just to document me for reasons, again, that do become clear. There's a lot of overlap, there's a lot of, you know, rehashing of stuff, but isn't that what the junk piles of our lives do? They tend to, you know, just throw things at us when we least expect it, at random. You know, you can get things in one junk pile that reveal themselves to actually be connected to things in other junk piles, and how when all those junk piles combine together, it's pretty fucking messy. But you know what? Within all those junk piles, there's an abundance of treasure to be found. That's the way I see it. That's the way I've always looked at it. And as Rebecca of Sunny Disposition, you know, that's what the world has always expected from me. But, you know, and why, you know, I say I've laid her to rest in my writing. Some time ago I said I've laid Rebecca of Sunny Disposition to rest. It's just one more lie. I think I tell myself more so than the rest of the world. Yeah, because it doesn't matter what this life throws at me, I'm still Pollyanna. In fact, I have someone who's proven herself of late to be, you know, quite a treasure of a friend, who calls me Pollyanna. He says, no, you're Pollyanna. I've always seen you as Pollyanna. Even though of late she's seen the absolute darkest of who I am, but she still says I'm Pollyanna. And I just go, really, really, really? Because it feels so toxic, it feels so acidic, so dark in me. But there's so much treasure to be found in our junk piles, not only for ourselves, but for other people as well. And I honestly believe that. I really honestly believe that. Because I've taken so much from other people's junk piles in life. Yeah, this is pretty random. This is not at all where I was going today. This is not at all the thoughts that I was having, but hey, run with it, I say. And you know, yeah, you know, Daddy's little monster. Now I know Harley Quinn, it's a whole different ballgame of what this is meant to mean in the Harley Quinn stakes. But for me, you know, this unseasonably beautiful 19-degree day with the sun, and it's a bit breezy, the breeze has come in and it's a little bit cool, but I had no clue what clothes to put on this morning because it's been absolutely bitterly cold, and this was the best thing I could find. I thought, you know what? This is perfect for me to launch into this, because there are a lot of people who are going to look at me as Daddy's little monster, in as much as I'm a lifelong daddy's girl. I came into this world being the mini-me of my father and resembling so much more his side of the family than my mother's side of the family. And from that standpoint, you know, I felt it my whole life. Every time I show traits of my father, which, you know, he wasn't perfect. He was far from perfect, which he himself would say, just like I'm far from perfect. But he was my dad, and he was the only person in this life, the only adult, my only elder, you know, in that generation. Well, he was the only adult, period, who understood me and who valued me and actually showed me respect in this life for who I am and the woman that I became. And so Daddy's little girl, well, Daddy's little monster, his little number one girl, he used to call me his number one daughter. I'm his only daughter, but, you know, I know he's watching from, you know, wherever, the veil, beyond the veil, you know, if there's an afterlife, if there's someone sitting, you know, on the other side of another screen, wherever, you know, if this is some sort of simulation, whatever. Yeah, clearly my spiritual beliefs are bigger stories for another day. But he's watching, he's knowing, he knows, he sees it all. And I was right behind me in tackling some of these junk piles and just clearing the way for the next generation in my family, in my bloodline, because there's been too much going on for so many generations. This is what you get. I am taking a pretty hard line. I am pretty rough and ready at this point, where I've come to, and I make no apologies for that. In the last recent years, I've been broken in a way that it's not pretty. I feel hard. I feel really hard. I have moments where the sweetness is still there. But my fuck you moments to the world are getting more intense. And the rightful tsunami of, you know, hell created acid that is pouring out of me. I don't know what else to do at this point. So I'm going to leave this here and just say, I don't intend for this channel to continue on this dark heart, you know, hard dark line. I just need to get this out of my system because there's nowhere else for it to go. And I need my story told because, you know, let them talk about me. Let them tell their stories about me. Let karma do its work. It has never cleared the way of my junk heaps in life. It has never let them has reduced me to no life at all. And so I'd say half a century of let them has been incredibly patient of me, considering that I am widely renowned for being an impatient and unjustifiably and unreasonably aggressive person. I'm notorious for it in certain familial and religious circles. So I'm about to prove to the world just how patient I've actually been in letting those who want to talk, talk. Those who want to fill up my yards of life with junk, I've let them. And I have waited excessively patiently for karma. You know, I mean, karma isn't karma. I know that. The westernised idea of karma is a load of shit. But you know what I'm talking about. So I'm not letting anyone anymore. This is my turn to speak. And as my head is not working to write at the moment, I just can't write anymore. It's doing my head in. The people who wanted to destroy that part of me, my ability to write, my gift in writing, they've succeeded. They have fully succeeded at this moment, Pollyannas and all. So yeah, this is a bit rambly. As always, I'm always highlighting that point, you know, it is rambly, but it's true to life. This is what you get with the junk heaps of my life. And I'm hoping that me just documenting my life, it clears away some of the junk in my life, because I don't know what else to do with it at this point, other than opening up my house and saying, I am a junk burdened hoarder of responsibility that nobody, you know, responsibilities that are not my own to own, of guilt, of blame, of shame, of humiliation. I will pick up and I will claim. I will take ownership. I have taken ownership of everything that nobody else wants to own. And yet I'm told, it is said that I blame other people unduly, that I don't own what's mine. You know, I don't take ownership of what's mine. I don't know how to be held, you know, hold myself to account. I'm irresponsible, yada, 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 yada. And yet, my entire life has just been an accumulation, a hoarding, being greedy with everybody else's unwanted baggage. And I am now throwing open my doors of this rather dangerous hoarder's home that is me. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. I had no intention of this video being this long, clearly. But yeah, stick around if you are interested in this rambly old Sheila. Thank you, you know, like just my thoughts, whatever. As I say, it is about me, and, you know, but if you can take any little pieces of, I don't know, my trash becoming your treasure, whatever, then please do that. And again, and this is going to be a little bit repetitive for a while. It is going to be a little bit dark. And after that darkness has cleared, well, no, I mean, I don't see it always being light and shiny from here. It is highly probable that this is where it's at, is, you know, spinning the darkness toward the light and all, but I'm not pulling any punches at this stage in my life. And so from everything from outing all my relational demons to my upbringing in Christianity and how that all went sour, and I no longer align with any form of religion or spiritual ideology, even though I am, you know, pretty spiritual in my own way and right on my own path. You know, I am a conspiracy connoisseur in the most unconventional of ways, even from conspiratorial stances. You know, pattern observer, esoteric explorer, critically deep thinker. That's just where I'm at. That's who I am, and that's what the world has never seen of me, and so the world can have it all, nothing if not all of me. And that is a story for another day in an upcoming video, and I'm going to shut up now right here and say thank you for sticking it out this long and just letting me ramble away while I document my life for me. Yep, okay, thanks again, and have a great day. Bye for now.